Hi, everybody. I am Melissa Klein, and some of you know, some of you are like, yeah. First off, I wanted to say thank you so much for signing up for this class. I love this subject of creative portraiture because in a lot of ways, it's not about necessarily getting a perfect resemblance. There's tons of really beautifully rendered, almost photographic copies of photographs. I admire their technique and skill, but this is about adding something more of your own interpretation as an artist into this. And so here's a good example. When I was 9, if you had asked me, how would you, do a portrait of your little sister, I would have done her in yellow because that was her favorite color, and I would have drawn her as a complete monster with a big mouth and like just totally scary and claws and a jump rope. So that would have been, and that would have been fine. That would have been my accurate representation of how I felt about my little sister at that time. We're good now. We're good, really good friends. But at the time, that would have been my portrait of my little sister. Kind of a shame that I didn't do that. Um, and so this leaves a lot of room for that. And know that wherever you are at, there are no wrong answers. So some of you have quite some pretty impressive skills. Some of you are just kind of getting back into it. Some of you, I'm not really even sure where you're at. It's totally fine because we all have things to learn from each other. I truly, truly believe like some of my biggest moments of inspiration have been with working with beginners who do something that's so cool and bizarre and unexpected that, that keeps it really, really interesting. And then I've also, in working with people who are pretty very skilled, it's like they challenge, it's inspiring to see them see what they do, and it challenges everybody else, like, oh wow, she did that, well maybe I can do that. And so I think that's a wonderful thing. And art doesn't happen in a vacuum. There's this stupid like myth of the what I call the lone genius alone in their attic making magnificent work, and then dying like poor and nobody discovers it. And of course we all know about like Vincent van Gogh and how, he only sold I think one painting in his entire life. But even Vincent van Gogh was not in a vacuum. He actually had the support of his brother Theo throughout his whole life. In doing his art. And he also had quite a few of fellow impressionist friends that he hung out with. So even with all of his manic depressive and crazy and everything else, he was not in a vacuum. So just think of it like that. Now some nuts and bolts on this. Every week, early in the week, you're going to be getting an email which will have demos that I've done, as well as, curated material, reference pictures, and a dare. And that dare is like, here's something for you to try out. You are welcome to use that dare and go for it. You are also welcome to go off road and like be like, yeah, I want to do bit, that's totally fine. I will celebrate that. And in fact, a lot of times when I was a high school art teacher, I would get something where I could tell like the kid didn't really follow the directions, but they actually did something more cool. Well, that kid got an A. So did the kid who followed the directions, but I just don't get too hung up. I really want you to make these dares this your own. I want it to be your own work instead of like, oh, I'm just, plodding along. That said, if you need hand holding, I am so here for you. I know what it's like to be stuck on something. Feel free to text me. Especially texting is a great way. I've had times that I'll be like, hang on, I'll be with the client. I'll be like, hang on, one of my art students is I've got to. I'm like, no, it's an art emergency. So maybe that's poor boundaries, but just because that's how I feel, I guess, as a teacher and as an artist. We're community and we're in it together. And I just am looking forward to having a ton of fun and seeing what you do. There's some nitty gritty details in this email and also some inspiration just to kind of prime the pump. And in the next day or two at the most, you will be getting another email that will have more content in it. But I just wanted for now to get this out to you. So here's to your creativity and to a new year. Thank you so much.